Okay, good day everybody. It's me, Nikki, and I'm here to discuss JamiAzu. Why ship it and how do they work? So first of all, let me have a quick rundown on things I will discuss in here. First, we'll have the introduction, which is all about Jamil and Azul and how their dynamic works. Then after that, we'll have a section for the evidence and the implications these evidences have. And then lastly, we'll have my delusions. So we'll first have an introduction, canon, things that happened, things that made me, wow, Jamil and Azul kind of work, and then what those canon things formed inside my brain. And so here we have a quick warning, major spoilers ahead. I think this goes without saying, but let me just say it out loud. If you do not want spoilers, go away right now. Especially Scarabia chapter spoilers, there's gonna be a lot. This is like the holy bible of JamiAzu, so if you don't want to hear it, just get away. First of all, introduction of my two loves. First we have Jamil Viper, the Jami of the JamiAzu. So he is the Vice House Warden of Scarabia. He's in Class 2C. He's known as Kalim's servant. He's in the basketball club along with Lloyd and Ace. And he's probably an INTJ. This is my own interpretation of him, and I won't be discussing MBTI in detail. I just have a shortcut here. From truity.com, it says, INTJs are analytical problem solvers, eager to improve systems and processes with their innovative ideas. They have a talent for seeing possibilities for improvement, whether at work, at home, or in themselves. Often intellectual, INTJs enjoy logical reasoning and complex problem solving. So that is how I see Jamil. Next, we have Azul Ashengrotto, the Azu, the JamiAzu. So he's the house warden of Octavinel. He's in Class 2C, the same as Jamil. And he's the manager of Mostra Lounge. He's in the board game club with Idya and kind of with Ortho. And he's probably an ENTJ. Again, this is my own analysis. I won't be going into detail as to what ENTJ means. But here's a quick rundown from MBTI Online. It says, the ENTJ personality type is a competitive, highly motivated, and focused person who sees just about everything by focusing on the bigger picture. ENTJs strive by setting long-term goals and making highly analytical decisions. They often do well in high-stress leadership roles. So I think that's how Azul is. That's how I interpret him. So here we have a rundown on their canonical relationship. First of all, they're classmates. Like I said earlier, they're both in Class 2C. But Jamil tends to avoid Azul at all costs. So here, the next one is equals. Azul sees Jamil as his equal and wants to recruit him in Octavinel. We see this in multiple instances. The most recent one is actually in his birthday card. If you put it in the home screen and tap it, he says he wanted to invite Jamil in his party. He also says that he thinks that he and Jamil can work together so they can, I don't know, rule the world or something. Next, sketchy guy. So while Azul sees Jamil as his equal or something he can work well with, Jamil has a great distrust of Azul because of his keen senses. He just doesn't like Azul's sense in people. Like Azul can tell how people are and what from their atmosphere. He can tell what Jamil is actually thinking and Jamil's true nature, and Jamil doesn't like that, so he tries to avoid Azul at all times. Then lastly, recognition of skills. So they both recognize each other as talented individuals. From what I said earlier, Jamil has a great distrust of Azul because of his skill in reading people, and Azul wants to work with Jamil because he recognizes that Jamil is a talented individual. They both recognize each other's skills, but they both interpret it in the most opposite way. Okay, so here we're at the part 2. The evidence plus implications. This is a really long road, so just buckle up. First, Azul's uniform rare card. So here, Jamil was asked to teach Azul how to fly a broom by Vargas. Now, this doesn't really show anything like friendly. It's not romantic or implicit or anything. It's not sending mixed messages. It just shows their dynamic where Jamil's facade usually falls apart around Azul. Because here, Azul is so stubborn, he doesn't want to listen to Jamil because he thinks that it's impossible for Jamil to want to teach him something because Jamil isn't getting anything in return. So Jamil's usual cool and collected attitude just falls apart because of Azul. Like, it shows that kind of dynamic that Jamil cannot pretend around Azul. It's also shown here in Jamil's quote SR. So in here, Azul pairs up with Jamil in their difficult alchemy activity. It was so difficult that Riddle warned them, and Cruel was in a bad mood because no one was getting this right, this freaking activity right. So Azul makes it a point that he understands Jamil and doesn't buy his act of being average. He keeps on making a point like, oh, Jamil-san, I've been observing you. I know that you're more capable and I'm gonna try to get it out of you. That's how he talks to Jamil, and Jamil is very worried of him at this point. Next, Floyd ceremonial robes SR. Now, in here, Kalim invites Floyd to play for an important banquet in their dorm. Nothing much happens until the end because Azul shows up to help Jamil clean up Floyd's mess. Now, this is a recurring theme. Keep this in mind. What I love about this card more is Azul greets Jamil as if he's part of the dorm. He's like, Jamil-san, you're late. Excuse me, are you a host? What are you saying? But yes. Next, here's another one. With that instance, New Beans Day event. So the whole event, it was emphasized that Azul was not athletic at all. Like everyone pointed it out that it's so embarrassing to watch Azul run around because he's just out of breath. Well, anyway, still, when he learned that Jamil was with Floyd, he ran full speed in the forest to save him. Again, as you noticed, Floyd. Well, this is a recurring theme. Floyd is unknowingly the bridge of JamiAzu because every time Floyd does something with Jamil, Azul shows up. Now you can argue that, oh, it's just Azul being a good house warden, but no, because Floyd always bothers Riddle, but he doesn't really show up actively. I know Jade handles Riddle, but only when Riddle tells on Floyd to Jade. But here, Jamil not once has told Azul like, oh my gosh, can you tell Floyd off? Well, except for this New Beans Day event, but in this case, it doesn't count because Jamil ran to Jamil. No, wait, hang on. Azul ran to Jamil before he told on Floyd, so it doesn't count. He's just always there to rescue Jamil. So next we have here chapter 4. Now this is the long run, chapter 4. So here, in chapter 4, we were running away from the cronies. I don't know what to call it, the Scarabian students, and we crashed into Monstro Lounge. Of course, Azul, being the capitalist that he is, he was asking for payment from the ramshackle dorm for damaging the lounge and getting Octavianel to save them. But you know what? This capitalist became a communist because he immediately changed his mind after hearing that Jamil was involved in the whole thing. So he asked us to spill the tea. And then he says he has no choice but to lend help to a classmate in need, but he never charged Jamil for it. He just wanted to be involved because he wanted to learn more about Jamil. Now you'll be like, what's... Well, it's just Azul trying to get info. Well, here in Jade's Union birthday SSR, Jade mentioned, but the octagonal trio can't handle high temperatures since their bodies are temporary. Despite that, Azul still willingly volunteered to go to Scarabia. Can we? I know the twins just want thrill, but for someone as meticulous as Azul, that's pretty weird. So here we have chapter 4 again. While playing Mancala, which is like a childhood game for Jamil and Kalim, Azul notices that Jamil was holding back to control Floyd's temper. No one else noticed this, and he says that, so that's it? He was trying to test Jamil. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm fangirling. Next, chapter 4. So here, when we got thrown away by overbought Jamil, when he explains to Kalim why Jamil ended up full of resentment, Azul uses the term people like Jamil or I because he can relate to Jamil. Now you may ask, how can he relate to Jamil? Well, when they were both younger, they just craved recognition. Like, Azul tried his best so he could be recognized for his talents. Jamil wanted the same, but he couldn't get it because Kalim was always in the spotlight just because of his status. So Azul could relate to Jamil in that aspect, but he's always wondered why he couldn't just go on top because he believes that Jamil has the same ability, which is why he's so interested in him. So here, this is kind of a reach, but this is kind of a reach. Just hear me out. Azul was the first one to speak up when Jamil wanted everyone to praise him. Like kind of that reference from the Aladdin movie. His compliment is also the most direct. I mean, you could be like, oh, it's just because, you know, he's very strategic, but others were saying, "Oh, Jamil, you're so strong. Your eyes are so sharp. You're so intelligent." He said, "You are incredibly handsome." Excuse me, sir? Okay, this is another reach. When Jamil woke up from his overblot, the dreamscape thing, Azul was the first one to greet him. And now you'd be like, "Nikki, who cares?" But hang on. Kalim was crying, worried for Jamil. Like, "Oh my god, is he gonna be okay? Oh my gosh, Jamil, he's my brother, he's my friend." But Azul was the first one to greet him. I expected Kalim to be hugging him or something. Chapter 4. Jamil wants someone who understands him. That's all he wants. He's tired of understanding, adjusting for the rules set by adults. And then here, we see that Azul understands how Jamil operates and sympathizes with him. He completely sees Jamil's outburst as reasonable. Again, like I said earlier, he understands Jamil's craving for validation or recognition for his skills. And he noticed those skills when no one else could. He watched this man for a year and a half. A year and a half, he observed this man and wondered, why can't he just beat us all? I mean, I know it's because of his strategic thinking, but a year and a half, this busy man, he's busy working in the Monstro Lounge while dealing with Jaden Floyd while being an honor student. You're telling me he's also been observing Jamil, excuse me. And then here, this part, the best part, the part that keeps happening. Azul invites Jamil in Octavino because he recognizes his skill, but Jamil harshly declines. Still, Azul doesn't mind it and sees this event as a fruitful one since he learned secrets about Jamil. And he didn't charge anyone for money. This capitalist didn't charge anyone for... He got thrown across the desert, guys. He did the whole routine on how to study. He gave everyone advice. He made Jaden Floyd work for Scarabia. Floyd was cooking. They did all of the services and he didn't charge a single thing because he learned something new about Jamil. And then here, this is at the end part. Kalim remarks that Jamil and Azul get along great, but it's brushed off by Grim. Kalim is the closest person to Jamil, and even with Kalim, he puts up a facade. Kalim considers Jamil's upfront attitude with Azul as a sign of friendship. I think to Kalim, Jamil being openly rude to Azul is a sign that he's being transparent to him. That's how it's translating to him. Kalim has been with Jamil for so long, since they were born. So I don't think people realize it, but Kalim knows Jamil the most, even though he wasn't aware of Jamil's suffering. He still knows how Jamil operates. So I think, Kalim, thank you for confirming the possibility of JamiAzu. Because here we are, the part of my delusions. How they operate in my head. So here, these are my JamiAzu AUs and interpretations. Number 1, Azul can be Jamil's escape. So Azul already has a whole business built and he can support Jamil if he wants to start a life outside of the Asim family. This is part of my AU. I have this elaborate AU in my head where Jamil just runs away from the Asim family, from the Viper family, and goes to the city, but he doesn't know anyone, and Azul stumbles upon him and takes him in. Please. Again, next. Azul sees Jamil as his equal. They're both talented and intelligent individuals, so they can spark each other's competitive sides to strive to be better. I truly believe this. This is why I love them. Because Azul is a very competitive person, and having someone who can challenge his abilities, especially since he considers Jamil as his equal, or kind of... Actually, no, he also mentioned that Jamil has more abilities than him, actually. There's more talent than him. But he sees him as an equal in terms of opportunity, so I think it'll help Azul get more determination to strive to be better. Next, Jamil can support Azul. So Jamil and Azul can work together on projects and build an empire based on their skills. It's kind of related to the second one. And lastly, Jamil can be Azul's safe space. So Azul is an overworked overthinker. Knowing he has Jamil supporting him can help him slow down and relax. Please, I need them. As you notice, all of my AUs are in the working world. I don't really want Jamil to be stressed as a student. I think for now he's not available. He's so emotionally constipated. I don't know why he has a friendship ban on himself, but maybe when they're older they can talk it out and they can develop a relationship, but as of now I don't really see it. So thank you, that's all. And as a tagline I have here, Jamil wants someone to understand him. It just happens to be Azul. That is all. That's my JamiAzu brain rot.